was, who better would know the all-American success story than Vincent Kennedy McMahon? And he made some wrestler and he named him Kennedy. He was left inside. That I apologize. You know, so like I thought that was done. You know, when you own the company and you can't beat somebody, you know, you ought to just drop the never held you WW. NSPWNCP. Do I get a beanie with it? Oh, and Frankie Williams, yeah. My point there was, in the beginning, Vince McMahon Sr. had just got renegades that would go work for anybody, and kind of like hired guns kind of thing. And on TV, they were, you know, like Sal, Beaumont, these guys in Orndorff just killing them, less than a ritual killing. I don't know how much more you can beat somebody up. So I got the idea, well, if they're going to see me wrestle, they're going to have to pay up top first. And I said to McMahon at the bar in the world, said, you give me 5 weeks full time, I don't get the job done, I'm out of here. And the next TV was like that Piper's Pit. I thought, geez, I forgot. And I didn't know, I didn't have a clue. And I didn't know who was going to be on it. I didn't know anything. And TV goes fast. It changes all the time. It changes every 15 to 30 minutes. Things change, lineups, it's really, really difficult. And what if I tell you a story about Santa Claus? Will you stay? Oh, no. So, I know one. It was Bobby Heenan dressed up as Santa Claus. I beat up Santa Claus and almost got us fired from the USA Network. I never thought it was Bobby Heenan to me. I never put it together. The moms did. So Frankie Williams came out, and right up until the camera came on, I didn't know. And what do you say? So where are you from? Frankie Williams, the only Puerto Rican I know without freckles. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. We're on a roll. I can work with that, and that's just how it started. And then in that one, like Frankie got so mad. There were certain things you weren't allowed that you in those days you couldn't say. First, I got a lot of trouble with a wrestler named Paul Jones. He was, you know, towards the end of his time, and I was in the beginning, and I did an interview. I said every time he passed the cemetery, 2 guys chasing with shovels. He pulls me aside for 30 minutes, tells me why that doesn't draw any money. He's right, you know. So those kind of things you didn't say. But when it came to Frankie, I just, you know, it was like therapy. You know, you suck. And he got so mad, I tried to push him out, and back like the alien. I had to beat the dog out of him to get him out of there. And I said, every time you think you got all the answers, I change the questions. And that was it. And no more thought put into it than that. And I love Frankie Williams. Wouldn't be a Piper's Pit without Frankie Williams and Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, that's true. I didn't really know they did.
Anybody else have a question right here?
Yeah.
When you dropped the title to Bret Hart, was that your idea purely, or did the guys want you to drop it to Bret and you were happy to do the job, or?
Well, I wouldn't lay my shoulders down for a couple of different reasons, but when it came to Bret, I thought that one, he deserved it, two, he could carry the ball, and I was asked to do the favor. And it's not, you know, it's okay to do business. There's got to be some honor. And there's a thing, Shakespeare, geez, I don't remember, and it might, you know, have no respect for the process. There's this king called King. Well, you know the king's first name. And there was this knight named Mulberry. And the king says, lions make leopards tame. And Mulberry the knight says, yea, but not change the spots. And the knight says to the king, my dear, dear liege, take but my shame and I resign my gage. In other words, you do anything you want to me, king. I'm yours. But don't shame me. I'm anything and I resign my gage. His gage is his sword. You can have, I'll fight for you. So I said, take but my shame and I resign my gage, my dear, dear liege, the purest treasure mortal times afford a spotless reputation. That away under a big gilded loom or painted clay, a jewel in a 10 times barred up chest is a bold spirit and a loyal breast. My honor and my life, they grow as one. So with my life, my honor's done, my life, my dear, dear liege, with that my life and my honor and my life, they grow as one. Take my honor and my life is done. So my dear, dear liege, with that let my honor try. With that I live, and with that I die. So if I'm putting Bret Hart over, it better be for all the right reasons. The reason I wouldn't put Mr. T over wasn't qualified. It was just a joke. Nah, Bret Hart qualified. And life has to go on. You know, you can't have that attitude that, oh, I'm going to wind up to be the greatest ever and I'm not doing anything. Because that's baloney. But there's a pro. If I put everybody else over, and then it come time to Bret, it wouldn't have meant nothing. But they went, Bret Hart, Rowdy Roddy Piper? So that's the difference between good and professional. And they don't understand it. Almost so big between the two. What's the name? Little girl, little boy. That's all right. That doesn't bother me at all.
Anybody else there, right here? I'm also.
I just want to get away from wrestling for a minute and ask you maybe if you could talk about some of your fondest memories of working with John Carpenter on A-List.
Ooh, fond ones, huh? Meg Foster. Meg. Eyes. Pretty eyes. It was a really hard film to make. And they wanted me to have a free wrestling match to publicize it. That's really good. You know, I don't know how to. Michael Jordan, go play a free game of basketball so we can watch a documentary. No. The good side, John's got a good heart. You know, like the homeless people there, they were really homeless people. And we fed them that day. You know, good things like that. But at the same time, I went from being in this completely rebel business to them all in a day wanting to be me to act like a Hollywood leading man star. And it's like, I didn't know how to do that. So I got a lot of other actors and stuff were angry at me, you know, because I was very aggressive. Keith David can tell you that. But you know what? The fun of it's now. To be honest with you, it was really hard. And I got a message from Vince. Says, you tell Piper only Hogan and McMahon are the only true blue WWFers. He didn't want to do that movie. Big time. And that's what started the tiff. So I lost the wrestling frat house, and the acting frat house wasn't about to accept it. When it came out, it was the #1 movie of the week that it came out. And it went against like Rattle and Hum, U2, and Dennis Quaid, the All-America, and U2 the night before Friday, put a big concert up in Hollywood for free. But we were #1. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so those things are cool. Hey, listen.
That fight scene with Keith David, how many days was that?
It originally was storyboard for like a lot of takes. A lot of takes. But Keith was killing it. he would, like, movie punch, if the camera's here, I just got to cross, I can be this far away, and it works, but, you know, Keith would get this part down, but on the way back, he's looking at John, come here. I said, finally, hey, Keith, from here now, just hit me, and let's take it as far as we can go. And he had no problem with that. And he just beat the belivers out of me, and we went like 3, boom, 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 and that was the day they walked home and took me to the hospital, or, you know, whatever. And then we came back the next day and inserted, you know, the more dangerous stuff that you couldn't go full bore. But one of the things that it did was it kept the energy in the fight up, because we were going, I was constantly ducking and making sure that he was trying to hit the right place. And he was constantly trying to hit me in a place. Any place. So I think it helped the fight, because usually you start right down, and you know, they always do this to you too. You know, because they want to get all the dialogue in, they go, then lunch, fight. Really? Yeah, so, yeah, I remember the question was. The thing that kept the fight up. And the fact, there was a fight between two friends. John Carpenter made me watch The Quiet Man with Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne. Before that was the longest fight in history. And now they live, I think it's against both world records. And they took 5 minutes off. But that was a fight between two enemies. Yeah, that was a fight between two enemies. This was a fight between two friends. And it made it more interesting, you know? Like when I swung the 2x4 and it, you know, I broke the glass of the car, but I went like, Jesus, my friend. And he got that mad and broke the wine bottle to stab me with glass, but he just cut his own hand. Made me laugh, made him more angry. Here he come over the car at me. We both went over. And it was like, I think it's what would have happened between two friends if we got it that far, you know? So it was good for the fight.
Looks great.
Thanks.
Right up here. Either one of you.
Hi. Whoosh. Wow, you're sure smart. I wasn't expecting that one. Let me see, WCW or WWF? The WWF in the beginning was much more exciting than any, because, do you want me to say WCW? Which I just disappointed you. I didn't mean to do that. I love the WCW. You know the best part of the WCW I like? When Eric Bischoff decided he was going to get his head shaved, and it came out all gray. Do you remember that? He's prematurely gray, you know? God works in mysterious ways. But the WWF, when it first started, it was like there was no rules. And like when Mr. T, you know when Mr. T so mad at me, the very first time we had a press conference, I saw Mr. T went, feel this. So I squeezed his head. I said, it's pretty soft. Boy, no sense of humor at all. You know, I want to mess up that mohawk. You know, but the WCW, for fun, like, it had a lot more people that you might identify with, like the NWO and those guys. And for a while there, they had a great production going, and some really talented guys. But just from like excitement, never been done before, like the first WrestleMania. That Starrcade, going back too far back for you. Yesterday's too far back for you. Come talk to me in 10 years. But no, I tell you, there's maybe your daddy and your mommy can show it to you. One is called the Starrcade. And that was the very first pay-per-view ever. So like that was an important one. Take a look at that one. And then take a look at the War to Settle the Score. And I was in Madison Square Garden, and then look at the first WrestleMania. And that might give you, and then for the WCW, it's what I call Big Show Sprout. I came out and I surprised him. It's a long answer for not saying anything. It's the most diplomatic answer I've had in years. It doesn't look in there. Who did you like best? Come on up here. Yeah. What's your name? Honor. Have a seat. Ever been in Puerto Rico? So do you like the WWF? Yeah. Who in the WWF did you like? Be honest.
Well, I like Rowdy Roddy Piper.
What a kid, huh? He'll be president someday. And you cheer for all.